When did you start boxing though?
I was around 13.
Who introduced you to boxing?
So at that point,
the Bronx.
Yeah, exactly. The streets.
You know what I'm saying? Let's start with that. The Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but go ahead.
No, it was basically that. I was getting into school, getting into fights in school, getting into fights in the street. I was rebellious. I'm 5'11" right now, like basically 6 feet. And I've been this height since I was 13.
God, okay.
So, and it was like boys.
So
yeah.
It was testing your gangster.
Yeah,
okay.
even the boys, it was like constantly. Because, they're smaller at that age.
Yeah, you taller than them.
Yeah.
I get it.
And he was mad.
I was the smallest nigga in the hood back in the day, so I totally get it. Word.
That's what it was. And then my mom had told my father, like, you got to do something with her because I don't know what to do. I was fighting my brothers. My brothers, I'm the shortest one. My brothers are like 6'1", 6'3", and I was fighting them. And we would get into it, and that's why I say now, like, I feel like any girl that hits me is like, please, I've been getting beat up by my brothers all my life. That's how the little one is. Right now, she getting beat up by her sister and her brother, and they don't play. And then I tell my son, like, yo, be easy. She's small. Oh, she got to learn. I'm like, who raised this kid?
You?
You know, that sounds like Big Pun's kids. When he used to, did you ever watch the documentary?
Yeah.
So in the documentary, he used to put them to box with each other. And people are like, yo, what are you doing? Like, that's how you learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you learn.
It's like when you go to swim. That's how I learned too.
Exactly.
My father
throw
threw
you
me
right in there. You're going to figure it out.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Listen, it's funny you mentioned that because that last fight that you had in the garden, and we'll get to that later, but it was a moment, I don't know if it was the second or the third round, because she kept holding you and stuff like that. And you just stood there like, bro, like, you trying to fight or you trying to hold? Then she hit you and you was like, I say, yo, Nisa's a nut.
Felt like a tap. I was like, come on, girl, you doing all this for what?
Nisa's a nut. So that's what's up. So was he the one that got you to the program in Brooklyn or somebody else? Where did you first, what gym did you first start boxing at?
It doesn't exist anymore. It was Batanzas. It was off 1-4, 6, and St. Anne's, like literally right across the street.
Okay.
So if you look at, well, Mendes doesn't really count. I'll get into that story later. But a lot of the gyms, it's like you had to pay your gym dues, you had to pay for the trainer, and you have to pay for your equipment. And anyone that boxes know your headgear, your gloves, all that rotates every 6 to 8 months, depending how much you use it.
Especially gloves.
A single mom from the Bronx that's putting all 4 kids of her in Catholic school, you think she gonna have money for that? Yeah, so true. I used to take my school MetroCard, go all the way to Brooklyn. Well, it wasn't my school MetroCard, but I was still young enough to use it. And that they gave me those opportunities. If it wasn't for Pat Russo, who was a sergeant in the NYPD as well, he's the one that found he came up with the whole idea and the aspect of NYPD cops and kids. And it's free for all kids 12 to 21, because if you look at it, even 21-year-olds, you're still a baby. Yep. You don't know what you're doing in your life. You know, you haven't experienced, for the most part, what it is, the trial and tribulations. So he was like, oh, good, get you GED. Or, you need help with sponsorship, we'll help get you there. Nice. And if it was too far for me to go to Cops and Kids, I used to go to Mendes. So a lot of people don't know, Mendes actually trained me for a while. And he was
Rest
like,
in peace.
Yeah, he was my son's godfather.
Okay.
Yeah, so he knew me since before I had my son. Okay. So it was like,
Shout out
Mendes
to
has,
Shout out to Frankie and Mendes.
Oh, Frankie knows I love them, yeah.
And for sure.
His mom and everybody.
I told him I was going to interview you. He just lit up with a smile.
I love Frankie.
Yeah.
So they had a different place in my heart, because Mendes, at the time that I was going to nationals, the women's nationals, they never paid for you to go. If you go, you came out of pocket. And Mendes sent me all the time. And because of him, I won 3 national titles.
Wow, that's dope.
Because if not, I would have not been able to pay for it. So he was like, I'll take care of you, no problem. And then after a while, that's when they started paying. I was like, where was that when I was going to nationals? Yeah. But it worked out. Everything happens for a reason. And he would, every once in a while, he knew my struggle. I wouldn't say nothing, but he would here, get the baby something. Here, give him junk food or whatever. I'm fighting with him, don't give him no candy, because I got to train. But hang out with him when he was, I have pictures of my son when he was 2 years old in the old Mendes that was upstairs. Mm-hmm. I think it's 26th Street.
26th Street.
Yeah, that one shut down though, right?
Yeah, but that was more for the pros, and then they had the other Mendes, and that was for everybody else.
I was confused because my son went to that one for a little while.
Yeah,
that was the serious Mendes right there, boy.
Yeah,
Yes,
all the
sir.
pros used to go spar there
Got it,
and
okay,
whatever
okay.
they needed to do.
Yeah, but I still think Harlem has a different feel than the
Yeah.
old gym right now.
It does,
You know what
but
I'm saying?
it's also like I remember during COVID when everything was going on, and talking with Frankie, and him and my husband were very close, and it was like it was sad to hear that that space got let go, but things happen for a reason, and Mendez, the father, was already planning to move to Harlem. That was something that they had in the works. So I feel like it's beautiful to see Frankie, even though the old facility was like, all right, you got to let go, to see him come into his own, because I knew Frankie for a long time as well. And to see him carry out what his father, was already planning on to, it was beautiful. And what he's doing with the gym, yeah, I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of his sister. I'm proud of his mother, because, the whole situation was hard.
Yep.
But I'm so happy to see what they're doing.
Bro, when I tell you special people, bro, special people. His birthday was Saturday too. So
Nice.
we definitely did it up for him. And yeah, man. Life is funny. So, is it true that you was sparring and you was pregnant and you didn't even know that?
Yes.
Wow. Damn, you got a crazy story. I thought I had a crazy
Yeah.
story.
Sometimes I think about it. I'm like,
You
did
don't
all
know
this stuff
nothing
really
yet,
happen
bro.
to me?
You don't even know nothing yet. We ain't even get to the meat and potatoes yet.
Yeah, I think I was about 4.5, almost 5 months pregnant, and I'm sparring, and I'm like, man, I'm so tired. I'm dizzy. I will go to sleep and sleep all day, all night. So my mom was like, oh, maybe you got the flu, whatever. I go to the hospital, and they're like, oh, you're severe anemic. And I'm like, okay. And then like, oh, yeah, you're pregnant. And I'm like, what?
So which child were you pregnant with?
My son, my oldest, my 15-year-old.
Okay, so he was getting beat up since.
Oh, yeah, so he used to it.
That's why he used to get
That's
in
why he
there.
got a chin.
That's why
Okay.
He used to it now.
He was like, damn,
Yeah.
what's going on? I'm already I'm not even in the world yet. I'm already getting pounded
Word.
out.
Oh, no.
Okay.
But the worst part with that, I told my mom, I texted to her, and I wasn't even speaking to my mother, but I was living under her roof, and I was getting ready to leave. And at that point, I ended up living by myself. But I had to go tell my father in Rikers.
Oh.
And I'm waiting there, and I'm like, oh my God, I had to tell my father. My father sits down, and he was, a santero. So he looked at me, he goes, I know. And I go, no, what? And he's like, they told me. I was like, what they told you? So he was like, when did you find out? I'm like, oh man, he does know. How the hell he knows? I'm not even showing. And then we end up talking. I kind of like broke down. I thought I disappointed him. I was a daddy's girl in my life. So he knew. And even when I was in labor for like 15 hours, and he was like calling me all the time. He was like one of those guys that everybody went to, like, go do the cards, or he'll help you out or whatever in Rikers. And he was like, yo, did you give birth yet? No. Another 5 hours. CO's like, all right, guy, you can call her. He was calling me until I gave birth. He was calling me, which is like unheard of too. But because he had that rapport and he was a good person, I was like, that's another thing I don't believe is true to me. Even if somebody else would have said it, I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You think about Rikers, they're not gonna give you a phone call at like what, 11 at night.
Depending on who you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 That's crazy. Listen. Every time I just research you, it just keep getting crazier and crazier. But me knowing who you are, I can see how it goes down. So now, after you got your GED, what made you want to be a teacher?
It was just by chance. I was a lifeguard, and I needed a better job for my son. I was living by myself. My mom went back to Puerto Rico, and I was like, all right. Somebody was like, oh, you could be a para, whatever. So I started as that, and it was another school in Harlem. And then I ended up being a gym teacher, and then I ended up doing mediation with a lot of the kids. We had a lot of kids on the spectrum. We had a lot of kids with behavior issues. And then you have those kids that have behavior issues on medication. The parents weren't giving them medication. So what happens? They go through withdrawal. They have anger issues. You look at many adults, they don't know how to hold themselves. So how do you expect that from a child?
Yeah.
And to sit there, and then you have some of these teachers, almost like, I'm not going to put down a job, but you got a lot of people that don't know the environment. You're coming from the suburbs. How are you going to tell a kid about life when they lived life more than you did?
Yeah.
So then they have animosity to the kid. And, that was one of the things I was like, man, this job, I need to be able to do more. But then I ended up having like 2 instances where we lost a kid. And Pat Russo was like, at that time telling me, take the NYPD exam. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then that's how I ended up going to NYPD.
So was you still fighting at this time, or are you still competing at this time?
Yeah, I was. I was on and off. After I had won my first gloves at 17, won it again at 19. When I was 20, I won it again, and then I had a retina detachment, so I was out for a year. And another reason I didn't know I had it, but because I wasn't, like I said, I was a single parent for a while. My son was suffering from seizures, so we were in and out the hospital. And I'm like, I have these migraines. I feel like I can't see. So once we came out the hospital, someone was able to stay with my son, and I went to go check, and they were like, you have to go through surgery. And I'm like, well, I need to, make arrangements. And they were like, no, you have to go to emergency surgery because your retina is like your brain. Once the blood stops flowing, that's it. You don't.
Can't see no more.
Yeah, so I lost some of my peripheral. And
so was that due to fighting?
No. I'm working, going to school, and boxing, and being a single parent.
Stress.
So, yeah, I end up getting, I was having sinus infections, and I was taking Afrin. And it's like the steroid nasal.
Yeah, the nasal spray.
So I didn't have time to go to the doctor. Afrin, I can't breathe. Afrin. You sparring and you clogged up, you can't, and you get that headache. Afrin, and it detached my retina.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I didn't know, but there's no pain.
Yeah, I'm about to say
no, it says that you're not supposed to use it like on a regular basis. But again, I was stubborn. I was young. I'm not reading the freaking bottle. Yeah.
Same thing with cigarettes. It causes cancer. Everybody smokes cigarettes.
Yeah. Among other things.
Yeah. She only thought she was doing what was right for her.
Yeah, because I didn't have time. Like there was a time that I had cracked my tooth sparring. Some guy called me lovely. Cracked my tooth. And time goes, and I'm picking up shifts. I'm working with my son. I caught an infection in my jaw, so then I had to have another surgery. And oh man, that was the worst pain ever. But
and dangerous.
Yeah, but I didn't. The time is something that you don't get back. There's time. Like I feel like there's not enough hours in a day. So then when I see people that are kind of like wasting time and wasting away, and it's like it's a shame, especially when you're so talented. And I feel like a lot of athletes don't realize what happens after sports. What are you doing to better your life? Yeah. Or what are you doing?
For it afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Or what are you doing to give back? If you have a platform, or if you won a couple of titles, and people are like, oh my God, like, can you come to the school? Or like, how many schools would love to have athletes, even on the amateur spectrum, come and talk to the kids. Yeah, what it takes to be an athlete. What do you do on a regular basis? Because there's a lot of kids.
Especially someone like you from the hood. They could relate to you. Like some athletes, they just can't. Like LeBron James' son. That's LeBron James' son. Like it's a no-brainer. But when you have somebody like yourself, and especially a female Latina, like that's huge.
You know what I think it is? Well, might be part. I'm not gonna say that that's 100% what it is. But a lot of these people, it's like you see athletes once they get that money and all that, they got guns. They want to act like they tough and all that because that wasn't.
They want to act like rappers.
They wasn't that persona. So now that they got money, they could be the persona that they want to be. Like I started the whole interview with, is people that wear masks. You understand what I'm saying? So these dudes are so far gone that now they get the money and they forget about all the struggles that they had to go through, their family had to go through, and it's bugged out. Because I don't see, well, I ain't even going to get into that. We're going to stay in your, don't get me started in that. So, all right, so now you're a teacher. So how did the transition come from a teacher to an NYPD officer?
So
hold on, not to cut you off. You from the Bronx. Let's just be clear. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it all the way above. We know, being from the neighborhood, how we view officers. You understand what I'm saying? We don't have the best relationship with them. We could care less if anything happens to them. You understand what I'm saying? But here you are, a person from the Bronx. You're a teacher, which to me, it's a little bit more of rearing a child than a police officer. So now you leave in that realm to go transfer to be a police officer. How did that transpire?
So just to go off what you said, I felt now that I've been in both predicaments as a teacher and as an officer. When I was in the school, I felt like there was only so much you can do because there's also policies when you're in the DOE. So that was one of my biggest things, being a parent myself, that I felt like I didn't want to have my hands tied. Being a cop now, being able to work beyond school hours or beyond just seeing them face to face, going to make home visits, going to, you know, dealing with the family, dealing with the hospitals. I feel like this is what I was meant to do.
Got it.
I know that this was what God told me to do. And I had to go through a couple of hurdles to get there, but this is what I know I was born to do.
So are you like in a special unit with the NYPD or like?
So I work for chief of department, and within that is my unit, rapid response. And rapid response basically is you have patrol that goes and does whatever crime it is or whatever the situation is. They deal with the paperwork, they deal with the upfront and as it happens, or dealing with all the, you know, just the paperwork. And then rapid response brings, say, a homicide, you need funding for that funeral, or you lost your house, how can we get you set up in a shelter, or, you know, get your kids into another school, like that extra step that you need.
Got it. So
almost like victim advocate.
That's right up your lane. That's what you wanted
Yes.
to do. Got it. Okay, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're just not a regular patrol beat cop, just
No.
running around the hood, and so
she's
you're
really
actually
out
serving a purpose.
She's out here making a
I'm
difference.
not saying that they don't serve a purpose, but I'm just saying like
It's different,
you're
yeah.
actually doing what you wanted to do that you couldn't do when you was working for the Department of Education.
Yeah, because like you think about it too, you have, all right, obviously if you do a crime, there's consequences to it. But now you have a child that, say the parents are not home and they shoplift and they were shoplifting for food. I hear about it, they let me know, or if I come across it, now I have to go and make sure this kid has resources.
Got it.
There was a shooting in the school or whatever, or a stabbing or an assault. Why was this happening? How can we bring the school together? Why didn't the staff know what was going on? So that's more our forte. We go beyond of what happened in that incident.
So you didn't out the academy. You didn't go straight in there. So
No.
how long were you like a beat cop before you found your lane to do what you're doing?
Almost a year and a half. It's a little different for me. I already knew a lot of police officers. A lot of people in the department knew who I was, but only because I was already involved because of NYPD Cops and Kids. I did a lot of the community affairs events. I would do anything with kids. I was actually asked to be a spokesperson in the police academy for Women's History Month.
Okay.
And a lot of people remembered me from that. I was like, yo, come to the boxing gym. I'll help you out, you know, whatever the case is. And then when I joined the academy, people already knew who I was because I received an award, and then they gave like a whole spiel about it. And then it was more eyes. And then I went to patrol, and even with patrol, I was still working with the boxing team. So I was the only female there. I was the only female coach. And then we have, it's called smokers. So you fight against other departments. And of course I won. But then it puts you
Talking
more.
shit, talking
Yeah.
shit.
Heard you. So
talking shit.
have you ever did the
Yeah, she did that.
the NYPD versus FDNY?
Yeah, that was the smoker. And it was one of the
okay.
bigger ones because it worked with Tunnel to Towers. There's another foundation that we've been working with.
Got it.
That help with veterans, and they also help with MOS, anybody of line of duty. And those are just organizations I continue to work with because I saw what they were doing. Another one is Blue Lives Matter. Another thing that is just a whole cops that came onto the job, or people in law enforcement or first responders that like, I'm gonna use my platform because there's money in these departments to do something.
Got it.
And then the rest is history.
So how long are you on the job now?
Now I only have about 3 years. I'm not at top high.
You're
Yep.
fresh. So hold on. So you got 3 years on the job. You a boxer. This is kind of crazy because are you pro?
I am.
You're pro. Wow.
She just had her second pro
2-0.
fight on parade. At the parade
Okay,
weekend.
so I wasn't there, but I
Where your
have
homie-
my
where your homie
homegirl
was
brought you out. My homegirl Chachi brought you out.
Oh, she was amazing. And that was last minute.
I know. I heard.
Yeah, and she came through, and she
came
was
through.
looking beautiful.
Yeah, she came through, and then after that, we had met up. You know, we had met up, and it was just crazy how this thing come full circle. Because then he hits me like 2 days later. I'm like, yo, my homegirl. He was like, yeah, that's why I'm hitting you up because I saw you. You know, I had posted her on my gram, and so when he had mentioned your name, I'm like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Like, I'm not gonna say no. Like, let's go, let's activate. You know what I'm saying, but yeah, I say that to say because you're a NYPD officer, you're a professional boxer, mother, like a wife, and both jobs are like serious. You know what I'm saying? So like one could hinder the other one. what I'm saying? So like if anything, God forbid, was to like happen with NYPD and the whole 3/4 thing, you can't box anymore.
Yeah, it's
so like
it's
and
hard.
then if you're boxing, then you get injured, it affects your NYPD job. So how do you keep that balance?
I don't know. I grew up on that hustle. There's nothing like there's times that I've fought like my second fight. I hurt my knuckle. I still gotta go to the gym the next day. It don't stop.
Wild.
I got hurt on the job before this fight, and I still fought.
My sister's a cop, and you know she's about to retire now. Like,
oh bless her.
Yeah, she has like 6 more months, and she's like, yo, but I'm like, yo, chill out, bro, because your last 6 months is when these things start coming your way. Just chill out. Like you did all this time. I don't need you acting crazy. I'm not trying to see you on the news. Mm-hmm. Do your 6 months and get out. Like get out. You know what I'm saying?
Post.
And you know, she had a couple of situations, nothing serious, but like with you're boxing and your NYPD, so it was like you just pushing the line.
Bro, let's run this down real quick, right? Because I was gonna wait till further in the interview, bro. Collapsed lung, blood clot, first professional fight, did something to her hand. Mind you, I was mad at her because she should have finished Shorty, right? But look, so she comes to the corner, yo, what you gonna do? We gonna get this dub, right? I don't know how she did it. The 4th round, I thought she's about to break Shorty whole body down. And I'm sitting here the whole fight. I'm sitting here like, yo, why is she not going to body? Why is she just... Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know you had a hand injury. But you wouldn't know the way she just went out that last round and washed Shorty. I'm sitting here like, then the blood clots, then the retina, then the tear in the knee. Bro, it's the tooth. Like, yo, bro, she like Allen Iverson in boxing, bro. Like, she just got
crazy.
all type, and none of that stops her.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's why it's like, yo, bro, and she still gives her time out to these people out here.
Like she said, it's the hustle. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's why I say she's amazing and inspirational and a role model. Like, for real, when I told you, Queen, I told you, champ, listen, I need you on my show. Because I need people to understand that there's women out here that's doing it just like the men. You understand what I'm saying? We get all the glory and all that. Like you said, you had to pay to go to Olympics. That's some bullshit. They not doing that to the men, but y'all got to do it. That don't even make... That's unfathomable.
Nah, it's fast. The same thing. Even with the basketball players, like the WNBA players.
Yeah, they starting to get...
Like, it's crazy, bro. You could take one NBA player's salary, and it's like 20 of their salaries combined. Like, it's nuts.
They could pay... They could buy the whole franchise for what they make.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And me, you know, I'm big on sports. My brother, he's a news guy. He don't do sports.
Yeah, I don't do sports.
You know what I'm saying? He said to me when I said, yo, we gonna have her on. What does she do? She's a boxer. Bro, I don't know nothing about boxing. I said, trust me, you gonna have something to say. But y'all fundamentally more sound than men. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all take it more serious than men. Look at the form. Diana Taurasi carved somebody in the NBA. Now, they might say you wilding right now, but I'm just saying as far as skill set, she's so fundamentally sound, and it's like you with your right hook and your jab. I look at you, I know you don't do boxing and all that, bro, but she doesn't have to be in here mixing it up with people. She just told you she's 5'11". She's fighting females that's 5'5", with whatever them lifts in their feet. They 5'5", right? The most she'll probably get, 1 or 2, she'll probably get a 5'7", 5'8". What I'm trying to say to you is that all she got to do is jab a chick. She don't got to do that.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Listen.
Are you with Top Rank?
No, but they put me on the show and maybe another one in the future. Okay. So right now I'm solo. I have Keith Sullivan. He's a lawyer that's been working with cops and kids for a long time, and he does the right thing, and he deals with all that. As of right now, I don't do it for the money. You think about women's boxing, you're not really getting paid. I mean, unless you're Amanda Serrano, that's a different story, because she's, you know, come on.
The top.
Yeah.
And she's with the right promoter.
Yep. And regardless of what you say about that, he's putting people on.
Nah, I mess with that guy.
He's putting people on.
Let me not even say that guy. Jay's that boy.
Yep. You see what he's doing for a lot of women that never had that?
Look what he's doing in Puerto Rico, period.
Yeah.
Now, he put in Puerto Rico on the map. He got a whole house over there and all that. They can say whatever they want about Jake Paul.
A free gym right now in Carolina.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Jake Paul went to Puerto Rico and did what Donald Trump was supposed to do after, what was that, Katrina or whatever?
Maria.
Yeah, Maria, pardon me. But yeah.
So did you the night you fought, Did you stay to watch the rest of the fights that night?
Of course, because I knew Shushu, he was the co-main event, and Xander I knew for a long time too. He was the main event.
So my brother-in-law did the main event. He's a retired NYPD.
A lot of people that are there are like retired from the job or nurses.
Let's talk. Hold on. So we talking about times in a day, right? She worked the night before because it was FDNY against NYPD. She fought Saturday. Sunday she was working the parade. Like.
And Monday I had an event with 600 kids.
Wow. She don't stop, bro.
That's crazy.
She doesn't stop.
There's no time to stop, though. Because it's like, you think about it. Also, again, the platform that I'm having now is nothing like crazy, but I'm able to do more things in the department and relate more to the kids. And on top of that, if I don't take advantage of this now, like I said, I don't do this for the money. Because I'm not wealthy, but me, my kids, my husband, we do good for each other, and my kids have everything they want and need.
Yeah, you good. So this is your passion. This is what you like to do. So it's really not work, because this is what you like to do. That's dope.
Quick question: how did the Olympics and the all the other medals that you got, how did those come about? Did people approach you, or you just put yourself out there like, yo, I'm trying to compete in this, and that's what it is?
So I was winning everything in New York. Nobody really wanted to fight. I was actually supposed to go pro, and PR called me, and they were like, oh, we want you to fight for us. So I went the first time. I got a bronze medal. I went without training with them or anything, and it was like me and maybe 3 other people that medaled out of 12. So I come back to New York, and they were like, we want you to move out there. So I go back to Puerto Rico, and I'm living with my family in Carolina. And it worked out because my grandmother fell ill, so I was able to take care of her until she passed. And they gave me the permission not to go to the Olympic camp so that I can stay home, train in PR, and take care of my grandmother. We go to Centroamericanos. I won. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go home for a little bit. And that's when I started going back to Cops and Kids, because this is all like in the meantime. Everything goes fast. My son was living with me too. We were back and forth. And then they wanted to get ready for the qualifiers. And that's when we went to Nicaragua to get ready for the qualifier for the Olympic Games. And I was like, oh, man, I can't, it's hard to breathe. And in Nicaragua, where we went, it was high pollution. So they were like, oh, it's just the pollution. You get used to it. Day comes to fight. And I'm like, man, I can't really lift my arm. I can't breathe. I win the first fight. Then it goes to the second one. I'm fighting USA. And I can't lift my right hand at all.
Damn.
So we're waiting to go back to the States. And I'm like sleeping, sitting up. I can't breathe. I'm in pain. And my mom was like, just come to New York. As soon as I got from JFK, we went to Lincoln Hospital. And they told me I had a blood clot and my lung collapsed. And I was supposed to fight in the Garden that same week for the Golden Gloves. I would have had 9 gloves at that time. So it's a lot of things. I'm like, this whole time, my lung collapsed. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm dehydrated. Like, that's what boxing does to you as an athlete.
You don't even think of the worst. You just think I'm overtraining or some crazy.
But you think about it too. When you in sports like this, especially for like traveling teams or the Olympic qualifiers, if you say that something's wrong,
it's over.
Yeah, they're gonna say, all right, you want to go home?
Here's your ticket.
Yep.
Here's your ticket.
Exactly.
You got to hold it down. You just got to eat that.
Yeah, I've fractured my hand. I've had fractures in my foot from overtraining, and they're like, so are you going home or are you gonna come train? You can't say that, I'm in pain or whatever the case is. Either you train or you go home.
Simple as that.
And they look for any reason to disqualify you. Yeah. For anything, yeah.
It's hard for women, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that she just keep pushing through is crazy.
It's also a little dangerous. My mom told me, that's it. Every time I fight, this your last fight? I'm like, we'll see. Because she's with me all the time.
Since you bringing that up, what are we doing? Are we trying to get that? Are we trying to get that Clarissa Shields fight? What are we doing? Let's put it out there right now. I don't care. It's
listen, I don't call nobody out because
listen.
My mom is. Listen, like I said, my parents are very old school Puerto Ricans. We stay humble, and one of the main people that you have out there too that does the same is Amanda Serrano. That's what puts her different from everybody else. Fire. She knows what she has. I know what I have, but you don't. Women boxing is different from men. That's why. It seems a little off. You have a lot of great women that come out there, but when they start like trash talking and be like, oh, I'm gonna call this person out or you ain't nothing or whatever the case is, that's what separates us from the men and the women. No offense to the guys. Yeah, it sells tickets.
It's
a class thing.
Yeah, but let's do it. All right, let me rephrase it, right? Because you're 2-0. You got to get a couple more fights under your belt before that's a possibility. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, in the future, let's just say, because now, like we was talking about Saturday, you could be 10 wins and be fighting for a belt, which is ridiculous.
Or less.
That would have never happened back in our time. You understand what I'm saying? But this is the where boxing is right now. So let's say 12-0.
Even at that, I think right now I'm trying to find out what weight I want to do, and I know she's welterweight because I'm coming down.
No, she's still middleweight.
Is she middleweight?
Yeah.
Well, then that would be the weight I'm at now.
Yeah.
So I started at 168 because they couldn't get me a fight at 152. That used to be my natural weight. Then we went to 160. So the last fight, the girl came in overweight, and then there's a certain amount of pounds that you could lose before the fight. So we end up having to change it from 160 to 165, and I had weighed in 158. So I had to eat like 2 or 3 times. And then now this next one, I think we're trying to do at 155 or 154. I think that's the catch weight, 155. So it depends on where we end up fluctuating. But I mean, regardless of whoever has the title, that's your plan. Why be pro if you're not going for a title?
So, all right, let me ask you this. Has anybody asked you to come in their camp and be a sparring partner to prepare them for a fight?
Besides Sadeja Green, Amanda Serrano, like Alicia Napoleon, like a couple of females there. But the ones that stand out is like, of course, Serrano and Sadeja Green. If you haven't seen her, she's a beast.
She get busy.
Man, she could hit. I was like, God damn, how much you weigh? Shit. She built like a truck.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But the good thing is
she's
like
stocky.
Yeah,
she's stocky.
Listen, she hugged me and I was like, ow.
Listen.
Like that hurts. I don't look like a fighter neither.
Yeah, at all.
And I was
lanky,
like, oh,
lanky.
thank God I'm faster.
Champ, listen. Champ, make no mistake about it. I support you, but I support the boxing game. It don't matter if you male or female. I'm locked in, so I definitely know Shorty is not a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a walk in the park right there.
Yeah, they say all the time, you don't play boxing.
Yeah,
Nah,
That's the
definitely.
only sport. That's the only sport that they say that. You know what I'm saying?
So that's my joints.
You gotta respect that. You know what I mean?
Bro, listen, shout out to her husband, because he holds it down in the crib while she do what she do. And I met him. That boy is enthusiastic. You know, he's not a dude where he's like, you would think he was be mad reserved and shit. Am I lying?
No, I
Bro,
got lucky.
I'm looking at bro and I'm like, this shit makes sense. The whole dynamic makes sense with the kids, with her.
That's
with
dope
him.
though, because you know
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
you
have
don't
that
find
support.
that. You don't find
it's
that
hard
though,
to find.
bro,
Yeah.
because you know you got individual certain men. They get intimidated by their women.
Of course.
So
yeah.
to see a dude, and I'm sitting back, I'm looking at him like, I like this for her. And I just met her. I'm like, yo, I like this for her. I see why she's able to be who she be, because at the end of the day, her home is secure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And you don't see that. If you look at a lot of athletes that have kids, especially, their wives take care of everything, right? Mm-hmm. They allow them to do that. They have to be reserved. They have to be quiet when people want to take pictures or talk. And we were talking for a minute. I left my husband to come talk to you.
Word.
And
I wanted to.
no, he let it be. He let it be. He's used to it. He knew me before this. This was me before him.
You know, that's just me as a man.
Yeah, out of respect. Out of respect. Yeah, absolutely.
Sir, she's where she at because of you too. Don't ever get it twisted, because you know, I'm just keeping it real. I salute him, because a lot of people can't be in his position. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will sit back and they will be like this.
Oh, they could be in his position, but they won't be comfortable.
Inside, they're like this.
Mad animosity. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for him to be able to be like, yo, go do you. I got this right.
Yeah, he's confident. He know what it is.
He's a king for real for that.
He definitely, like, it's boxing wise, it's already hard, right? Because it's someone, especially when you're fighting, you're getting a lot of attention on top of having 3 kids at home. But the good thing is our kids know how to cook. They do their own laundry. We also have a Italian Mastiff at home, so that's like another child. That was my Mother's Day present.
Okay.
Nice.
He spoils me.
He did a good job.
But that's hard already. This man doesn't take any days off. He reserves his days off, so right before my fight and the day of my fight, anything I need, he does it for me. That's the only time he takes his days off.
Fire.
So it goes around my schedule. And he's, you know, he had the opportunity to do more in his career. And he was like, no, I want to be there for you. I know you sacrificed. He knows my whole history. He met me when I had the lung problem. And he saw me struggle. Like, when you're on blood thinners, you can't have, like, your blood pressure go up because you can have a heart attack.
Right.
So
Easily.
I would get, I was very anxious. I didn't want to be in crowds. I was like, you know, throwing me off. And he would be calm. Like, he's my other half. Everything that I needed to calm down. I needed to think things through. I needed to relax. I needed to let go. And I was kind of like...
He was your balance.
Yeah, but for him, he was very, like, tranquilo. Like, he lets everything go. And I'm like, nah, say something. So it was like one of those, like,
but
he knows.
That's why y'all coexist, because you're opposites.
If we go to a dinner and they get his order wrong, I mean, like, mira, no, nena, that's not it. And he goes, no. I go, mira, that's not what you wanted. You know you're not going to eat that. So
He knows that they're
out.
going to go back there and spit on it.
Yeah. He wants
ain't dumb. I don't want no smoke.
He's like, yo, hold on. Save the energy for the ring and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Not right here.
And at the restaurant, shut it off. Turn it off at the restaurant.
He loves it, though, because me and him spar.
Okay.
Like, in Mendez, if you ask about Mendez, say, like, when we were first dating, I was like, you know, yo, you pissing me off. Like, lace up. We'll go lace up, and everybody would surround the ring, and they were like, oh, well, Celine do the dishes. Like, we would just, and we would go at it. And, like, he would try to, I'm a little more Olympic style boxing, and he was like a jibaro. Like, he boxed too. He know, don't make me, I'm not going to sound like a bully. He knows how to box. He's had fights too. But he just, you know, it's different levels.
There's levels to this. You heard there's levels to this.
But he hang in there.
No.
You know, he knows.
Listen. When I seen him holding the pads with that little skit you did with Mark Rain before the fight, I said, okay, yeah, he know a little sign. Yeah.
Listen, I don't know him, but salute to him because wifey's a boxer and a cop.
That's a bad mix.
She don't even need the hammer, you heard?
But then that goes to it too. While I was in the academy, I was a 4x, so I didn't get home till 1, 2 in the morning. And then even with that, like, I would be in the academy all day, all night, come home, go to sleep, and he has to get the kids ready and take them to school. And I would sleep all day, study, do what I got to do, because it was a lot.
Yeah.
And try to make it to, like, the kids' football game, basketball game, whatever the case is. Make dinner and then go to the academy, or go early to go get ready, or train, because I was training too at the same time. And then when I came out on patrol, I was a midnight cop. So there was days that I was doing, like, you know, the protest was coming out. I wouldn't be home for 2-3 days. And he would come, find out where I was at, and bring the kids so I could see my kids for even 5 or 10 minutes.
Fire.
Oh, nice.
There was holidays I wasn't home. There was days that I would sleep all day, and he was taking care of the house. He did what he had to do in order to support me.
Yeah. To make you the amazing person that you are right now, because you just, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, you went through the struggles and all of that, so it's only right that you get somebody to support.
God sent him to me.
Yeah, absolutely,
bro,
1000%.
Let's read her shirt, bro. Mm-hmm. Her shirt says it all. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For those that can't see it, it says educated, empowered Latina. You feel me? So, quick question. How has boxing influenced your choices in being a police officer?
The one thing I'm able to do while being a cop is knowing there's predicaments that we're in that we have no control of. Like, you have to adapt where you at. So when there's times that you know, like I mentioned, a kid gets locked up, oh, he's stealing, oh, he's a perp. If you're from the suburbs and you never had a struggle and you never had to wonder where your next meal was at, or if your parents are coming home that day because they're picking up a shift to pay rent, you're not going to understand that.
Exactly.
So just because this kid went and got into a fight or had a knife on him, you know how hard it is? I mean, I'm speaking as a female. For males in the hood to be walking by yourself, you know, and some of them, yeah. So what are you going to do? You scared? If you're scared for your life, you're not going to walk around with nothing.
Just like your brothers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember my brothers doing midnight shifts in Wendy's and come home from the train and come back bloody up right in front of the building too. Like, these kids are trying to survive. So just because they have something on, you can't be like, you know, he's a perp, he ain't nothing. Same thing. Yeah. One of my first gun runs, I was in the first precinct and these kids were hanging out after school. They get, there's a kids outside, they playing with the handgun. And that's a big thing because you remember, it's a lot of money in Soho in the first precinct. So I go pull up. They were like, oh, is those kids right there? You see the kid playing around with a gun. He goes, one Caucasian kid gave it to African-American kid. African-American kid put it in his back pocket. Everybody comes out, guns out. You can't tell. I go, put your hands up. And he goes, oh, no. I go, don't put your hands up. I'll reach for it. I came out, took the gun. It was one of those Warby guns.
Oh, wow.
It has a mag.
So it looks...
It cocks back. A Warby gun.
From far, you can't tell. Yeah.
And you have all these other... I'm the only Hispanic one there.
Yeah, because you know how to... Exactly. You have to know how to approach. You have to know how to speak. Because, like, we were speaking behind the scenes. It's like a lot of these cops are from the suburbs. They're from Long Island. They pass the test. You throw them in pink houses or any project. And they're scared to death. They are scared to death. So you got somebody like you, born and raised in the Bronx, where it's like a joke. Like, yo, hold on. You know how to speak to them. You know how to approach them. You know what to say. If you weren't there, God forbid, they're gonna let it ring. Like my hairs are standing, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's over.
Because now there's more cops that come from where we come from. So we, a lot of situations could be diffused rather than how it used to be back in the days. And then there was no body cameras back in the day. So it was a whole nother story back then. So now, like, between having cops that are from the hood like you, where when these problems arise, you know how to diffuse it immediately and speak to them, and like they'll look at you first, like, hold on, she's one of us.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I hope.
Yeah, like we don't make the rules. Like, we don't make the rules. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm calling a spade a spade. Like, if you see a Spanish cop or a black cop, we're gonna relate to each other because we're humans, versus the cop that's white. Yeah. Like, yo, bro, stay away from me because y'all niggas is trigger happy. Mm-hmm. You don't understand my culture. Listening. You don't know how this works, bro. You pass the test. You're not even from here. Relax.
You're a visitor. But exactly. It goes for every
But
every
you're
cop.
a paranoid visitor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like I mentioned too behind the scenes, there needs to be a level where you have to meet a certain qualification besides just taking a test. You understand what I'm saying? If you come from outside of the urban areas, you need to be able to take psychology classes because you need to learn how to speak to people because automatically they're aggressive because they feel threatened for their life. You understand what I'm saying? So already right there, your body language is bringing somebody else's level that might be here to this level because already you're of a different color and your track record of your color is terrible. So now there's a problem. Instead of it being where Nisa come through and be like, yo, just chill for a second, hold on. Like she said, yo, chill, I'm going to grab that.
Yeah.
What you going to do? All right, go ahead. You see what I'm saying? Because we look alike and we understand the same plight that we have. So it's like it needs to be a different type of, what's the word I'm looking for? It needs to be just more than just passing the test.
But this is one of the things that we do in NYPD Cops and Kids. We're pushing for them to take tests, FDNY, sanitation, NYPD, because that is accurate. If you're coming from the suburbs and you don't know about the projects and you get put in housing or you get put in transit, you never dealt with homeless or EDPs, like emotionally disturbed people.
It's a whole,
or addicts. Just because you're an addict doesn't mean you're a bad person. Yeah. My father was an alcoholic, like bad. I'm pretty sure that's what killed him. But my father was an amazing man. I never take away from my father. My father did everything for us. He wouldn't eat. He would walk from Brooklyn, from when he came out of Rikers, they put him in the halfway house. He would walk from Brooklyn to the Bronx just to make sure that we came out of school. Mm-hmm. This man dedicated his life to us, and he had his own problems. But again, if someone would have saw him, they were like, oh, he's just an alcoholic, not knowing that his father died young, his mother was sick, and he took care of all his brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, poor.
It's, it's being, I say it all the time, like it's being born in the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like I come from a good family, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in my family that's on the job. You know what I'm saying? I was incarcerated for 5.5 years for a gun charge. And they didn't understand it. Like, but listen, like you said, my father was murdered when I was 4 or 5 years old. I was running around the projects, running around the hood, thinking, I was in the hip hop game my whole life, studios, management, all of this. It's like, it comes with the way we grow up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So back then it was like having a gun is like having a pack of sunflower seeds on you.
It was norm.
It's normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like we was out there sticking people up. It was just like, it was having a backpack. It was the cool thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Until you get put in my position where you get incarcerated, you do a bid. Listen, there was no victims. There was none of that. They just took a gun off the streets, and it was a lesson learned. You know what I'm saying? That now you come home, it's like, I speak to kids. Like, you know, I speak to cops. So to this day, I still get pulled over. You know, I got my PBA cards, things like that. But it's a whole different conversation now. You know what I'm saying? And where we come from, that's just where we come from. Like, this is how we raised. You know, back then it was watching rap videos. So, you know, the videos, what you see? You see them drinking beers, you see them smoking blunts, you see them with guns. So it's like, even now, the whole weed thing, look at that. How many people got locked up for weed?
How many people still locked up because of it?
Exactly.
Crazy.
And now it's legal and it's wild. It's crazy.
It's so accessible.
It's so accessible, and like that was the number one excuse for everything.
That way back then.
Yeah, that was the number one excuse for everything. So now it's like it's legal. So it's just like, all right, what do you do? Like, how do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Get pulled over. Oh, your car smell like weed.
It was the number
car.
one. Yeah,
Next
it was.
thing you know,
Yeah.
whole situation.
But even with that, now they have to find out. I don't want to get too political, but under influence, if you're, look how easy it is
It's
to
the
get
same thing.
weed.
You can't drink and drive. But I see people all the time smoking weed.
But there's no law
You
for
can't-
that now. Like they still have to come up with the policies
Yes.
for that in New York, which is you think about
You're
it, you're a
right.
little slower now and you're driving and look at half of the people, like this is what I tell my kids too. And I tell them all the time, like we spoke about it before, when we go in a van, if you're going somewhere, ask me any question you want. And I tell them, listen, your boy got a car. If it's unregistered and you get pulled over, it ain't nobody fault but your boy. Now, you know what's in that car? Do you know what's under your seat?
Exactly.
You get charged for that
Listen,
too.
I tell
Let me know
people
what I'm
that.
getting into.
I tell people that all the time. They find a gun in the car, everybody gets
Yeah,
arrested.
it
They
don't
don't
matter.
understand that. Yeah, they don't matter.
And you think it's cute. And not only that, you weaving through these cars, right?
Yeah.
Now you doing 80, weaving through a car, you hit the back of another car. Your boy don't give a shit about you because you know what? Who usually sits in the back? Now you just endanger kids' lives.
Yep. Yep.
And you have to live with that the rest of your life. So just because that's your boy and he got a whip doesn't mean that it's all right, I'm gonna go in. And when you're young, you don't think about these things.
Nah, you don't. You
Consequences.
just wilding.
Nobody thinks
Trust me,
about
yeah.
consequences when they're young.
Yeah, you're just wilding. Yeah, but you know, like more of the stories, like I just want to commend you for the work that you do because it's not easy, and especially being a female, like it's not easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like doing what you're doing, the cops and kids, and like trying to mentor these kids and like speak sense into them, because they're not gonna listen until things happen to them. Where again, like sometimes it just got to happen to you for you to get it. You know what I'm saying? You could have everybody speaking to you. Like I go to these schools and these programs now, and speak to these kids. They listen to me because they can relate to me. You know, they go to my Instagram page, they see my story, they're like, oh man, I want to do that. How did you do that? Boy, you don't know what I had to go through to act right to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, it looks cool because they just see the celebrities, the aftermath, all the activations.
They see the end result. They don't see how you got
exactly.
there.
They, you know, I just made a post today. Like an hour before this interview, I put a post up, incarcerated with my moms. I know 1,000 people, but my mom's
Shout out
was
to
there.
Mommy.
Every month
visiting you, writing
visiting
you,
me, exactly,
putting money
bringing
in
me,
commissary.
bringing me my
The
packages.
The most sweetest woman ever.
You know what I'm saying? So like people
Shout
see
out
that
to
and they're
her.
like, you know, they clap and they salute. But yo, I went through it. It was a struggle. It wasn't easy. You know, growing up with a single parent, you know that, and you know you beat the odds. So definitely, you know, congratulations to what you're doing.
Thank you.